Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Agiam, unto the elect that are scattered across the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth and faith and sincerity on the Bro Shema from the GMS Eastern Camp. And today's lesson, I'm going to be going into Romans, the 7th chapter. Lord willing, I'll make it through the whole thing, which is the goal. And just hop straight into it. Romans 7:1, it says, "Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth." Right? Because we entered into a contract agreement with the Heavenly Father to keep these laws, right? And we were bound by blood, right? Because when Moses in the book of Exodus, he sprinkled the blood, upon us. And basically that and we said and we agreed that we would keep all of these words, that we would keep the commandments. And then he sprinkled the blood, and then the blood basically solidified, established that covenant. Right? So as long as we here, hey, we were supposed to keep it, gotta keep the law. Right? But you got your house shot now, so you got that grace. It says, "For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband." It says, "So then, if her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she should be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man," right? Because that's in the law, right? A woman could not remarry, right, if her husband is still alive. She would be an adulterer, but if he did die, then it would be okay for her to do that. And that would be the only condition in which she would be able to do something like that. Right? Or she can remain a widow. But it says, "Wherefore, my brethren, ye are also become dead to the law by the body of Yahushua, that ye should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, so that we should bring forth fruit unto the Most High." So that you should be married to another. Because when we go to the book of Isaiah, what is that? I believe it's 54:5. It says, "For thy maker," right, talking about the Most High, "is thine husband. Yahweh of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The power of the whole earth shall he be called." So the Most High was our husband, right? Because he was the one that was taking care of us. You see, the Most High nourished us. He brought us out of the land of Egypt. You see, we were basically married or joined unto him. Right? Through what? Through the covenant. You see, that's what marriage means, to be basically joined unto. Right? They're joined together. But then you can go to Second Corinthians 11:2. "For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I espouse you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Yahweh Shai." See, so Yahweh Shai is our husband now. Right? Yahweh Shai died. That's why I said that he should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead. Right? That was Yahweh Shai. Right? So this is the husband that we are espoused to, right? Through this knowledge, through this truth, is how we are espoused to him as a chaste virgin, pure. right? Pure from these different philosophies, religion, pure from, unspotted, right, from this world. See, Revelation, the 19th chapter even goes into how that it says that her wife had made herself ready. Right? Because when you go to Jeremiah 6, let's see, Jeremiah 6:2, it says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So the woman represents Israel, right? So Israel is likened unto a beautiful woman, right? But mainly it's going to be the elect, right? That's going to get themselves ready for this marriage, as it says in Revelation 19. And even Matthew, the 22nd chapter, it says that ye should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto the Most High, right? Because we were unfruitful in our works, right? Before Yahushua. Said, for when we were in the flesh, the motion of sins, which are by the law, they work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. See, so before Yahushua, right, we couldn't keep this law. It was humanly impossible to try to keep all of these laws because the flesh was not made perfect. The flesh was not made compatible with the law to be able to keep it 100%. All right, the law and our flesh are on two different levels, which Paul is going to explain here in this chapter. All right. It says, for when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins, which were by the law, they work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But we are now delivered from the law, that being dead, wherein we were held, that we should serve in the newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. So Yahushua died and made us basically dead to that old way of having to keep these things 100%. You see, because he picks up where we lack, right? And he dealt with basically the judgment of not keeping the laws, which was, the death, right? Because we are supposed to be dead, right? That was the punishment, you see, for a lot of laws was to be, be put to death, right? But Yahushua, he took our place and delivered us from that. So now it's through our faith in him that we get righteousness. And, our works that we do is coupled, our faith in him and coupled with works, right? That we keep, you see, to the best of our ability, which these laws, statutes, and commandments, and, pushing the word. Romans 3:21, but now the righteousness of the Most High without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of the Most High, which is by faith of Yahushua Mashiach, unto all and upon all them that believe, for there is no difference, right? It said unto all because the Israelite foreigners, right? They are scattered all over, and they're currently still scattered all over. They're still Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So this righteousness is going to be by faith of Yahushua. It says, but now are we delivered from the law to being dead when we were held, that we should serve in the newness of spirit, right, through that faith, through that grace in the Lord, right, and not in the oldness of the letter, right, of the law, basically just trying to, having to keep it 100%, being bound to it, right, just like it says in the first verse that the law had dominion over us. It said, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? Most I forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law, for I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. Right, so through the knowledge of the law, comes sin. That's how sin couldn't even exist, right? Because of the law, right? Because let's go to 1 John 3. And for whosoever committed sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So you can only sin if you break a law, right? If you go against the law that the Most High set up, that's the only way that you will be able to sin. So sin is tied together with the law, right? The law is not sin, but you don't know sin, right? Until you have a law. You can understand what I'm saying, because let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 56. The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So sin gets its strength from the law, because you only get sin by breaking the laws. So if there was no law, there would be no sin. All right. So it says, but sin taking occasion by the commandment wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. You see, so without the law, there is no sin. Right? But because we have the law, we got this flesh, which is contrary to the law. All right, now it wants to go off, do the complete opposite, right, of righteousness. For I was allowed without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died, right? Because when we were younger, we wasn't under the law, right? So 12 years old is when a boy becomes a man, and now you have to keep these commandments. And once you really get into the commandments, right, and you really, really just understand it, right, you know that you can't keep it. Because even when you read down, Paul is going to say the law is spiritual, you see. So when you really understand everything, you know that, hey, it's impossible, right, to keep these things. When you really have understanding of it, right? A lot of people still try to keep it, try to say you got to keep the laws 100%. They don't have the understanding, right? They don't really have the understanding of it, you see. But once someone like that does have the understanding, really have the understanding of the law, hey, then they'll be in the same position. But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. It says, and the commandment which was ordained to life I found to be unto death, for sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me. Right. And hey, that's us too. So we getting smote every day. All right. By this flesh, of course, by not being able to walk 100% how we want to walk. Right? Because we want to please the Most High. Right? But this flesh wants to do the complete opposite. It's subject unto sin. It said, wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. And so the law is all of these perfect things. The law is perfect. You can go to Psalms 19 and 7. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making the wise simple. So the law it said it's perfect. All right. The law is perfect. There is no fault with the law. The Most High, when he came up with these laws, he didn't make a mistake, right? He didn't say, one of the laws not supposed to be there, or he added an extra law. He messed up on this law. No, everything was perfect for the whole balance, you see, of the Israelites, and trickles down to the earth. How we treat the animals. For the whole balance of nature, for everything, for life, right? See, because it starts with us, and then us ruling in righteousness trickles down to everything else. All right, but it says, was then that which is good made death unto me? The most I forbid, but sin that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, right? Because like I explained earlier, sin doesn't come, or there is no sin without the law, right? So sin comes from that which is good, right? Because everything is basically like a balance. Like you wouldn't know good if you didn't have bad. You see, you wouldn't know up if you didn't have down, right? Down would be nothing without up, right? There would be no up without down. You see, so that's how basically you got the law that is good, and you got the sin that is evil, right? But it says, so it's like you said in First Corinthians that sin gets its strength from the law, right? And it would be nothing without the law. But sin that it might appear sin working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, I am carnal, so is on the sin. So the law is spiritual, is on a whole different level, right? The law came straight from the heavens. Right? But we ourselves are carnal, sold under sin. And the word carnal basically just goes into the flesh. And you get Romans 8:20, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, right? Vanity. That's basically going to sin, made subject under the rule, under subjection to sin. So for the creature, right, we're talking about us, because creature just goes into creation, right? Not willingly, right? We didn't want to be made like this, but the Most High did it. But by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope, right? So now it's through hope through faith, right? And hey, this is just how the Most High said it was all part of his plan. So we were made like this, right? And our bodies are not compatible to keep these laws 100%. That's why we're gonna have to have a set of new bodies. He says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would that I do not, for what I hate that I do. Right. So we want to do good. We want to do good all the time. And the things that we hate going off. Right. We do the complete opposite at times. The flesh could just tap into a different mode. You see, and you will fail to accomplish that which you wanted to accomplish. But they said a righteous man falleth 7 times and get it back up. Let me see if I can find it. It's in Proverbs, I know. Let me just put 7 times. 7 times. For a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. See, so Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So a righteous man is gonna fall. All right, but you gotta continue to go, continue to get back up, keep it moving. All right, through that faith. It says, I can do all things through Yahweh Shai will strengthen me. Right, in the book of Philippians. Or I believe that's 4:13. All right, so and also the scriptures also say we are more than conquerors. So you can't get weak, or let this flesh make you submit all right, unto it. No, we keep on striving for that goal, pressing for the mark. Right? It says, if I did that which I would not, I could sit unto the law that it is good, right? So the things that we say that we don't want to do, right, because it is against the law, we're basically agreeing that the law is good, that the law is perfect. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For the will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. So above, it said that the law was perfect, the law was good, the law was holy. But it said in us, in my flesh, in our flesh, there is no good thing. So they're not compatible. It doesn't mix. It says, for the will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Go to uh Matthew 26. And for one, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So the spirit is willing. The spirit is willing to serve the Most High in all righteousness and all holiness. But the flesh is where the lack comes in at. Right? This is the problem right here. That we can't operate as we should, as we want. Right? It says, where am I? It says, now if I do that, I would not is no more 19. For the good for the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that which I would not, is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me, right? It's the flesh. I find then a law when I would do good, evil was present with me, right? The spirit and you got the flesh together in these bodies. It's not separate. There's no way that you can separate it. There's no way that we can. Right? The flesh, which is the no good thing, right, that Paul spoke about, right, is always present. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. So it's about this, it's your spirit, right? Because when we go through things, the Most High purifies us, and the inner man gets built up, right? That's what's in the book of 2 Corinthians speak about that. But though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. That's what it's about, right? It's not about the outward. You see, it's about that broken and contrite heart, your faith, right, and your works to back it up, right? Not works and perfection, because the faith, it will perfect us, but the works perfects the faith. It said, but I see another law of my members warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. So it's a war between the flesh and the spirit constantly, every day, every single day, every single hour, every single minute, every single second. It doesn't let up. It don't let up. Okay. You can plan to do something that is beneficial unto the spirit, but the flesh like, no, man, let's get some sleep. No, let's go out for a drink. Let's go text that girl, man. You know, you ain't texted, you ain't seen her in a minute. You know, man, hit her up, man. I watched that new movie that just came out. Right? It's your off day. You know, all that type of shit, man. That's what we battle with. It's the old wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death. And this body, right, is death. So we're gonna be changed. First Corinthians the 15th chapter. Right, Lord willing, I get to that in the next lesson. Right, it says, I thank the Most High through Yahushua, Lord. So then with the mind, I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So that's just how it will be until we get delivered out of these bodies. Right, but hey, it's all good, man. The Most High got us elect covered. They're gonna be blameless. See, without guile, right? Chase, holy, just through Yahushua. We're gonna be found without fault if we are the elect. So, you know, that's the lesson. Hope you were edified. I'm saying shalom.